Hey, you guys. All right, here we go. It always takes a little longer. It's so funny. Okay, welcome, you guys. My name is Denise Walsh, and this is Coaching for Coaches. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are listening in live, I would love for you to share in the comments where you're from, what type of coaching do you want to do, and if there's been any hangups in building your business, I'd love to hear about them so we can address them and help you move past stuck and into thriving. For those that don't know my story, I'm a clinical psychologist turned dream life coach. And my favorite thing is to help you and your clients break free from the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back for years so you can finally step into your dream life. Now, how do I know you have limiting beliefs? And how do I know they most likely have been holding you back for years? Because we all have them. Comment that's me if you feel like there's something getting in the way of you and success. Maybe you've had a burning desire to start a business, or you've been in multiple businesses, yet you've never really done anything, or you've never really broke free from just kind of mediocre, or maybe you've had this restlessness of starting a coach and wanting to help people in a new way, but you truly just didn't know how. You felt this glass ceiling for between where you are now and where you want to be. Those, my friends, I would consider our glass ceiling. This is our limiting beliefs, and they're often put on our subconscious keeps them there. So they might not even be conscious to you, meaning you don't even really know that they're there, but they keep stopping you. And the reason for this is because our subconscious is responsible for 98% of our behavior. This is the autopilot that we are all running on. And if your autopilot is full of insecurity, unhealed trauma, like the way you view yourself in the world is going to be impacted. And so you can try to step outside your comfort zone, but your subconscious will always bring you back to what it deems normal. This is why you'll find people potentially are in a traumatic relationship, or a relationship that's not healthy for them, yet they may continue to go back to it. Or maybe this is why somebody might stay in a job that they don't love, because at least here, whether they like it or not, feels comfortable. I know for me, when I was at my clinical psychology job, I was there for over 5 years, feeling like I needed to leave almost immediately, right? Within a few years, I was like, this is not it for me. But I stayed because it felt comfortable. It felt normal. At least I understood the paperwork. And there felt insecure. I didn't know what to expect. And I wondered, would it even be worse? Right. And so you can think of how many times people stay in a situation that they don't love because it's comfortable. And the fear of the unknown keeps us stuck here. Alana said, that's me. That's me. I know it. We've all been there, and we all have limiting beliefs that have stopped us in our tracks. So what I want to do today is talk through an exercise that I love to do with clients when they're telling me that they want something, yet it feels so far away and it doesn't necessarily feel like it's for them. Have you ever had that? Where somebody might say, oh, good for you, I could never be a teacher. Oh, good for you, I could never run a marathon. Oh, good for you, I could never, because there's this belief that even though it may be a possible goal, it's not possible for them. So the first thing that you want to do with clients when you're helping them step into the next vision of themselves and retrain their subconscious expectations to align with where it is they want to go is you want to ask them, what is this vision that you want? Like, for example, when I was working my clinical psychology job, I was doing Tony Robbins exercises, and I was identifying my dream day, and I was taking a look at what it is I really wanted, and what would my dream day be in detail. And I was doing all of these different exercises. So the question to ask your client would be, or yourself, right, is what is this vision of yourself you see 3 steps from now? Where do you want to be? And let's be as detailed as possible. What does that look like? How do you feel? Like, let's talk about life when you quit your job. Let's talk about life when you're in a healthier relationship. Let's talk about life when you've learned 30 pounds or lost 30 pounds. What does that really look like? And you want to talk through this because, again, we want to get it out of our head, into our heart, out into the world. And so if you're talking through what is this big vision that I have, next we want to narrow it down to say, okay, well, what is the most important step right now? Out of all that stuff that you just said, what's the most important thing right now that like you want to focus on first? So for example, if they are looking to change their jobs, maybe they need to take a look at what other positions are available, right? And so the third question is what is one fear that pops up if you were to find a good position? What is one fear that pops up if you're going to hit this goal? What's one fear that pops up if you're going to lose 30 pounds? What is the one fear that pops up if you're going to build your coaching business? If I have my goal, if I hit this goal, I fear. Now, this is what we know. This normal that our subconscious puts us in, whether we like it or not, is trying to do something for us. It's serving us in some way. And so we have to ask, what is this fear trying to do? Is this fear trying to stop us from being hurt? Is it stopping us from being seen? Is it stopping us from failing or success, or maybe negative haters out there, or whatever the case may be? So what does this fear really want? And oftentimes our subconscious, this fear, wants us to stay safe. So we don't need this fear to go away. We just need to address it and say, what if I could have this goal and stay safe? Ooh, isn't this interesting? What if I could hit this goal and I could stay safe? What if I could hit this goal and it could feel easy and it could feel connective and it could, what if I could have both? And so when we talk through what this fear is actually saying, right? What it is that we want, the goal here is that we make what we want louder and we make the fear not necessarily go away because we're human, but just get smaller. And guess what? I can grow outside my comfort zone and be safe, subconscious. I can build a new community and be safe. I can let go of this relationship and be safe. And so there's a few ways that we allow that fear to dissipate. Certainly, the more we talk about what we want and the bigger, the more we live in our dream world, what do we want life to look like? And we live there and we act in that space and we give our subconscious evidence that we can and will build a business outside our comfort zone. We can take a step outside our comfort zone and we are safe. The more evidence we give our subconscious, the better. Repetition, repetition, repetition can shift the subconscious completely. The other thing is that we want to make this big mountain, whether it's leaving your job, building a coaching business, leaving a relationship, whether it's just whatever pivot or transition, grief, healing, all of that. We want to take this big mountain and we want to learn as much as we can about it. Not because we want to make ourselves more anxious, but because the more information we have, the more clear we can become. So for example, somebody who's interested in switching positions, going from one job to the next, the more information they have about the position they're interested in, the better. If somebody's interested in starting their coaching business, well, let's talk through that. What does it really take to start a coaching business? The more information you have, the smaller that mountain will be. We'll make that mountain a molehill. And you will then be able to move more easily and effortlessly through those steps because they won't seem so big and so hard. So these are the types of things that we get to do with our clients. We get to help them take these big mountains and turn them into molehills by understanding what their fear is trying to tell them and learning enough information where, oh, well, I can do that. Right? It builds their belief that it's actually possible. So I'd love to hear from you. Have you thought about becoming a coach? And has fear stopped you from taking a step of building your own program, marketing yourself as a coach, or learning the skills that you can elevate your coaching in the current program that you're in? And what is that fear trying to tell you? Is that fear trying to keep you safe somehow? And is there a way that you can learn as much as you can about the process and take action in that belief, repetition, 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 and give your subconscious evidence that it's possible to grow and stay safe? You can do both, right? You can do both, because in order to grow, you have to get outside your comfort zone. And the more that you learn to love that experience, the less fear will dominate your decisions. So I hope that this was helpful. Put any comments or questions in the chat below, and be sure to comment coach if you're interested in learning how to become a dream life coach and how you can work with clients on a consistent basis to add massive value into the world in a way that suits you. Have an awesome day, you guys, and I'll see you next week.